Welcome to the Incoming Radiant Wellness Podcast, where intuitive movement educators Jem Burns and Stephanie Jolie help you to embody spiritual concepts in order to embrace your physio-energetic wholeness. And now, let's get to the episode. Welcome back, Radiant Beings, to another episode of the Incoming Radiant Wellness. I am Stephanie.
I am Jem.
And we are the Incoming. So happy to be here today to feel into the vibration of the word lead and leader and leadership. What is it to lead? What is it to be a leader? How does that even look? And actually, I'd like to start there and ask y'all out there, where in your life are you leaders? And I'm saying that because I believe there are a lot of wisdom makers in our community. And so we would love to know, you can leave us a note in the comments, where do you feel leadership in your life? And I think that's an important question to begin today's conversation, because there's possibly this image of, I am Gandalf, I'm the wizard, here's my staff, follow me, go down the path with me. And it's this, almost this leader, it's this almost larger than life form, creature that collectively, I believe, we've created. And that it's, maybe you have to know all the answers, maybe your larger than life keeps coming up. And there's a lot of pressure in that definition. So really what we're doing today is what I feel is flipping that bloop on its side. It's also like I bring it back to dance and choreography. Sometimes there's the choreographer who creates it all, and then the dancers take from. But it's not just that there's the leader, the dancers also get to lead with their interpretation of the movement, for example. And I'm glad I started with dance, actually, because I ended my career, my performing career, which I know I'll perform again, but that really focused time of my evolution as a dancer with an improvisational dance company. And it was so liberating. And I had worked with a lot of choreographers that allowed a lot of play, gave us a phrase and said, okay, now go chop it up and do your own thing. And we would create a duet. Or so there's a lot of onus and leadership in being the dancer rather than the choreographer. So even in that model, and you know what the secret is? I think I know what the secret is. It's because it was all women. So women, we work differently. The matriarchy is different. And it tends to be, if this is patriarchy, this is matriarchy. And then matriarchy is also circular. So there's an equality. And yes, there might be a point of reference, might be a person that is the point of reference because of wisdom, because of age, because of whatever piece of agreement that the community has given to that person. And every individual also has a share in the information, in the wisdom, in the learning. So I'm going to offer this figure eight, because I love that sacred geometry, that leadership can be and is evolving into, because the divine feminine is on the rise, into this more circular heterarchy, this more equal frame, this more equal circle that can lead into a spiral. And it's because of each individual member of the hive and their gifts that create not one leader, but all. All can lead at all times. And there's this beautiful, in improvisational dance, there is this beautiful, I love partnering specifically, like a duet. There is this flow that you can get into where you don't even know if you are leading or following anymore. And that then becomes, we've talked about this before, that beautiful 0 point at the center of the figure eight of give, receive, lead, follow, lead, where then something new can evolve, where there's not even words for it. Lead and follow no longer exist in that equilibrium, in that 0 point space.
Yeah, I love that you brought in this shaping of leadership, because we do think of it as a point of reference, this person out in front that is leading us and bringing us to a new space. And in my work with animals mostly, the biggest part of the fundamental of what is going on in these behavioral issues that dogs are having is a lack of leadership, what we would call a lack of leadership. And it's not the leadership that's that pointy leadership that's like, I'm going to tell you what to do and you're going to do it. Like, that is not leadership in the animal kingdom. We are also animals, but we've adapted into this pointier system. And so the model in that world, in that realm, is more of a subtleness. It's a leading by presence. It's a leading by energy. It's a leading with my calmness. So that requires me to be in tune with myself. So then we can always, here at the Incoming, are talking about our toric fields and what's going on in our energetic body, because it's all affecting, we're all affecting each other in these dynamics that we're in. So it really requires that centering of the system to then bring a sense of leadership to the room with animals, to the room with people. It's all the same in my work. It's animals at the moment, and they teach me a lot about what it means to be a leader, because I also had that idea or perception that leadership required me to know everything and to have all the knowledge. And now it's so amazing to disassemble that idea and really come to an awareness that is leading me to the truth of things, because that is my true mission here, is to find the truth of things, and within that I'm going to find the truth of myself. So the leadership that I'm embodying around animals is more of a cool, calm, confident, moving forward. Even if you move in a different direction, the dogs will eventually follow if you have that magnetism, that pull, that centeredness within your system.
I love that you actually finished just then with that word magnetism, because a sacred name for leader came through my channel, and it has to do with magnetism. So leader, love embodied as divine energetic resonance. I'm just going to say that again. Leader, love embodied as divine energetic resonance. And I feel like that last resonance or radiance, they could be interchangeable. And that last piece, the divine energetic radiance, divine energetic resonance, is what holds you in your center. And it's your brilliance, your light, your mastery over whatever it is in your life that you are inspired by. And I hope you are inspired by many things. And that then, because you are so centered, and what we do here at the Incoming is recalibrate you to your center with lots of tools, specifically embodied movement classes and MirrorWork. They work in conjunction with each other. That helps you recalibrate to your center so that you can sit in your brilliance. And then what does that do? That light magnetizes, like fireflies, those that want what you got. That those that see your brilliance and also see, oh, I want that. And that once they come in, it's not like, here I am, that's it, there's nothing more. No, it's this evolution. We're here to evolve. Jem is like a broken record about that. So that when whoever, whatever, and I see it a lot in who I've been magnetizing here. I'm so grateful for my Pilates clients here in person, and that they're such wonderful teachers for me as well. So yes, I have this mastery over the Pilates method, the gyrotonic gyrokinesis method, somatic movements, dance. I have all this knowledge, and I am offering it to them. And I know that they're going to let me know because I've created a space, which is another important piece of this leadership, created the space to allow for this dialogue, this communication. So there is this give and take, there is this dialogue. Again, I'm going to give you that, for those of you here on YouTube, that visualization of that figure eight, in and out, give, receive, follow, lead. When you are so open that you're excited about learning and offering what you know, wow, that is what it is to be a leader, to be open to new experiences, to really never see yourself or maybe rarely in moments to see yourself as a master. But in that mastery, it's because you come back again and again towards your evolution, to understanding that you're always a newbie and there's always something more to learn, and that brings that enthusiasm to then share what you do know and what you want to offer as well.
I think that's why they have the saying, lead by example. The example is you. It's what you're doing internally to adjust into the reality that you are perceiving. So we're getting information all the time from that space outside of what's going on. And there is such a subtlety in the leadership because it's how you move through the world and what your light is doing. I don't need to necessarily say all of my wisdoms to then allow everybody to know how smart I am and recognize my brilliance so that I could be the leader. That's a very egoic expression. And we've been in the ego a lot, and it's not a time to kill the ego. The ego is important. It plays an important role in our life, and that's why it exists. But it's a reframe. It's an adjustment into how can I lead through my own existence? Well, it's what is my posturing, for one, because we're all mirroring through our mirror neurons the posture of others. Are we forward? Are we condensed? Are we in this fight or flight? We're all emulating these different pieces of ourselves. So it's, again, like, what is mine and what is not mine is fundamental in the human experience. And that is something that we haven't really put an emphasis on because we're busy making money and doing jobs and pursuing careers and all of it. But I would argue that the most important thing is the self and who the self is, and knowing the self. Like, that's to know thyself is the work. It's the inside work, and that inside work translates out because it's related to the energetics. It's related through the systeming of the intelligence of the body, and then materializing out into the energetic chambers that surround ourselves, that we call the aura, that is affecting others from across the room. Somebody can catch my vibe just by me embodying my own frequency and having a clarity in that frequency rather than a blurriness where we don't really know where we stand with somebody or the boundary is not clear. It's a re-establishing of those edges so that we know where do I end and where do you begin, right? So there's an emphasis on understanding the self and what our preferences, what do we like, what do we don't like, and even more than that, who are we, right? What is my energy? Where do I get energy from? That's why Stephanie and I are very geeky into human design, because it's a map of energetics. And so it's a beautiful way that we can language now on some of these components that we're experiencing in the experiments of being human.
And that map is given to us to actually feel our body. So if you do not feel your body, it's going to be hard to recalibrate. It's going to be hard to understand, oh, what is mine? What is theirs? And what I feel like you're really speaking on, Jem, is authenticity and clarity. You mentioned that word clarity. But when you know thyself, then you become authentic. Then you don't need to outsource. We talk about that a lot too. This is the incoming. So come into your source, so that then you're also clear, like you were just saying, on what you like. Maybe you don't want to be a leader in this way. Maybe you don't want to be seen in this particular way. Well, then you can come back to your center. And again, I'm going to put that out there. MirrorWork, embodied movement, helps us recalibrate back to our center. So that then we can, a beautiful friend, Sio, she gave me this and I keep using it. And then we get to excavate the subterranean levels of our deep core, both physically with our movement practices, and then also with the mirror to go inward. And many other tools as well. And that's one of our main focuses at the incoming. And so that when you sit in your authenticity, animals and children, they feel it. I am so grateful that my kid likes to go to playgrounds because I get so many beautiful reflections, kids coming up to me, kids talking to me. I'm like, oh, I'm like 4 years old. Like, you see me as an equal. Oh, maybe they should see me as an adult, but should, could, would. But I find that a really beautiful reflection. Just like Jem was saying, kids are so sensitive. Animals are so sensitive. They're so much closer, I feel like, to their energetic bodies. They're so much more open to them. I rather, that languaging seems more adept. And that fight or flight, the freeze fawn that Jem was mentioning, where am I on that spectrum? Kids can feel through that to the authentic adult person, animal in front of them, which is really beautiful. Because again, it can be a really beautiful reflection for you and where you are in your leadership. Are you authoritarian? No, this is the way we do it and that's it, or else we leave. And I find myself in that because I'm working through some of my parental and generational and matriarchal even lines. That is definitely part of something. Stephanie, yes, you don't want to be authoritarian and that just happened. Okay, you're going to do better next time. Why? Because I'm present enough to see that as something I want to shift. So the more that you practice excavating then you become more authentic, and then you see that always in the mirrors around you. Who's coming into your life? Maybe you aren't a teacher. Maybe you are a teacher. I bet you there are a lot of teachers out there. So again, let us know in the comments, because we're teachers. And part of being a teacher is being a leader. And in that leadership, really, it's to hold space. It's to hold space to allow, for me, I'm looking at my reformer right over there. Yes, like I said, I know how to help you feel safe in the movement, to get on and off the equipment. I have a lot of knowledge in what I can choose from. I have a lot of options to choose from for your body, and it's your body. So I will always point you back to you, which is a really fun thing to do. And it's a wonderful reflection that I get, I would say often, that, oh, well, thank you for making me feel better. And I say, no, it's a partnership. I don't live in your body. I didn't do the exercises. I was sitting here watching. It was beautiful. And you're the one that took ownership of it and embodied it and moved through it. So I always say it's a partnership. It's always a partnership. And sometimes what I say is heard. Sometimes it's interpreted differently. And that's actually a really interesting, because I call I was like, oh, that's interesting choreography. And they're like, what? It's like, well, you heard something different than I threw out, and it was better because you intuitively felt into the unique choreography that was for you. So in movement or in teacher, especially in a one-on-one, I feel like it's very visible that we can really shift into that figure 8 of give and take, lead and follow. And in that way, we're always evolving. We're always evolving as teachers, as leaders. And it's so much more enlivening and so much more fun to have that relationship be alive between two individuals, or an individual in a group, or a whole group. Same with parenting. And what Jen was saying, same with animals. It's just more fun. So let's start adopting it.
Yeah. We're in a reflective universe, so we have no choice but to work with the other. And when you see it in the frame or in the lens or the context of a co-creation, like, what is this? It's a dance, right? We start to be like the other. What are we reflecting? My role with animals, dogs mostly, are mirrors. So they are reflecting something about the household. So they give me an indication of that. But first, I don't just go in there and be like, what's going on? You know, I have to observe. I have to bring myself into a coherence, neutral, as Stephanie says in that point, it's the neutral point, to observe, to see. And then I can start to influence through my own leadership by what I'm seeing, to start to curb some of the behaviorals, to start to play in the dynamic. But it's not with do this, do that, do this, do that. No, I make it fun. I play, I explore, I make sure that each one has a voice, that we start to co-create in the space, and then they recognize that they get rewarded for listening. So really what I'm adjusting in dogs is their ability to listen, to understand what we're trying to say. And it's the same with kids, it's the same with people. We have to adjust into these frameworks where we're in the play, we're in the dialogue, there's an exchange, who is leading, who is not leading. It becomes almost irrelevant in some moments of like, oh, I'm gonna lead this date that I'm on and be in charge. It's like we have to be in flow with the other so that we can start to communicate in a different dialogue. The dialogue that's been before us is like, do this, do this, do this, do this. You do this to get this, do this to get this, do this to get this. And this model, if anybody didn't recognize it already, is broken. It's not working, and it's not fulfilling, it's not rewarding, it's not satisfying to the people. We're the people, right? So we're here to change through an evolved state. The evolution is televised, right? It's inside of us. It's in the matrix of the body. It's about reconnecting to your source, which is exactly our mission here at the Incoming, to connect back into that space, because that's where all the power lies. That's where you can feel that you're a leader and you don't need to be in a political office or the boss, CEO of something to be a leader. You can be a mom, you could be anything that's in that space of allowing yourself to evolve through the leading through your example, where we come back to always like the self, where we here to move out. So sometimes in the dynamic of friends, for instance, I have a friend right now, we're having a dynamic that I have to stand in my leadership because I can see and intone that this lesson is not for me. The lesson, I've triggered somebody, and that the work is for her to follow the trigger to find the healing. Whereas I'm not the one on that journey, but still doesn't feel good to be in conflict, right? So how do I lead through that conflict? I hold space. I hold space to allow her to move through the process and just remind her of where that boundary is, which is a new way of being for me, because we are very enmeshed with each other, with the other. And so I want to resolve the energy, right? Because I don't like when energy is fraying, and I want it to be clear and happy and fun and get back to that. But that's not my role in this moment, because I'm leading a charge. Leading a charge. The charge is a frequency. And it's where that person is coming in to their own healing journey, allowing that to take place without me. So sometimes it's going to ask you to remove yourself or to belong, right? So these kinds of parameters that we play, how do you know when to do that? How do you not know? Well, you have to know yourself. You have to know, is this my lesson? You have to ask the questions, because the questions that you ask are going to create the answers that you're seeking. And so that's a really important part of the understanding of when do I go, how do I go? And it's all trial and error too. I'm a 3-5 in my human design. I fail often. I fail fast and I fail hard, so that I can move on to the next, move on to the next, move on to the next, and keep going. We're not here to do it perfect. We're here to do it in the way that we can. Right. And we always say, Stephanie and I, in our sidebars, in our other podcasts where we're just talking to each other and leaving our voice messages because we exist in 2 different timelines, that the mastery is just in the showing up. You have to just show up in wherever you are, even when the conditions are not ideal.
I keep seeing a spider. And I know you do too, because you're actually seeing lots of spiders. And so am I. There's tons of spiders here. So as you were talking, this wonderful creature, and araignée is actually female, which is beautiful here in French. And she creates her web and continuously, and then there is a time to then come to the center and allow all the nourishment, all the people, places, things, experiences to come to you. What I love about the spider, l'araignée, is that she does a lot. She makes this beautiful, and what shape is it? It's a web. It's a circular web, and it weaves in and out of itself. This beautiful, the strength of this, the resilience of the spider. And then she gets to sit in the middle, and there's less work for her to do to get all that nourishment. How amazing is that? And that is exactly what we're speaking on. And that, the web is your radiant light bubble. The web is your auric field, and you can create it however you want with whatever material you want. I love to crochet, and I love cotton. Cotton is it. Like, I don't like crocheting with anything else. I finally found my jam, and that's it. And all colors. So you can do cotton, you can do sparkly, you can do wool, you can do, I don't know, go out and find some, I was going to say some hay. There's lots of hay here. Maybe you don't want to do palms. Whatever your material is, that's up to you. The colors, how big, whatever it is, maybe how tiny it is, that's up to you to create your web. And once you, it's always, I'm going to repeat it again, recalibrating back to you. That's how you know what material, what colors, all the things you like and desire. That's what you know your web's going to be made out of. And so then you focus on that. And then again, all the nourishing partnerships, the conversations, the food, the movements, the self-love, everything comes to you with so much more ease, because you've recognized this challenge as, I'm here to learn. Here's my lesson. Okay, what can I take with this? Like Jem was saying, how can I ask myself the question I need to know to lessen this trigger, to get less on me so that I'm lighter? And that I'm, it's like I can take that breath and see with clarity, and just in existing in that way. And we actually talk about that a lot. We want you here at the Incoming we want your radiant light bubble, your auric field, to glow with 0 holes. They're all patched up. Just be expansive, so that you can be that example for someone else who comes into your radiant light bubble and feels, wow, that feels really good to feel that way. And then takes a little bit of that radiance with them. And then the next person that they meet, it's literally this exponential growth of radiance, of regulation. It's also this shared nervous system, this physicality, though nervous system is pretty energetic. I always think of it as the electricity, which it is. It's like the electricity moving through us, triggering the fight or flight when we actually need it. Not when we're just so stressed that we have no other capacity, that the auric field is so tight, our emotional body is so tight that we just react. No, that radiant light bubble, the resilience of being l'araignée, of being the spider, and also understanding that it takes a continuous, resilient work. And I was moving away from that word work, and I'm like, why? I love to work. When it is loving work, when it is inspired work, I want my kid to understand, like at school, actually, in Montessori here, they call it le travail, which is work. And I at first I was like, wait a minute, they should be playing. And they are playing. And also, actually, work is it can be brilliant, it can be light, it can be filled with radiance. And that's what I want for my kid. That's what I want for everyone who comes into this space. Yeah, I'll have you work. And especially if you laugh at it and tell me you don't like it, it's like, okay, let's do it again, because actually I think you like it. Of course, that's a dynamic that you can feel in the one-on-one, but that this work is nourishing. This work is nourishing my radiant light bubble so that I'm patching up all the holes which used to be triggers, which are no longer triggering me because I'm lighter, because I have less on me, because I'm learning from this life. So exciting. It's so exciting. You've brought me, thank you, Jem, for bringing me to this really exciting place of leadership and what it is to be in this work of understanding ourselves. And just by doing that, that is enough. And I say it is, and culturally, collectively, we're still not there. So we do need folks like us who are literally just a couple steps ahead on the trail to just say, yes, come, or maybe just me. I'll speak for myself because I know you don't always like to be the cheerleader. But like, yeah, come with me. I know the way. And then along the way, you're going to show me the owl that like, look over there, Stephanie. Oh, that's so brilliant. So I'm going to learn from you. And then you're going to pass me because there's something else that you see. Like, it feels so natural to be in the give and take, the figure eight of leader follow. For me in this moment, probably because of all my movement experience, being in so many different dance companies, dance dynamics, and what really is resonating is improvisation, which is very intuitive, feeling the impulse within, or maybe the second impulse within, and then incorporating that with another body that you have to be in your sentience, you have to feel. Maybe leaders we're just given examples for you either to resonate with or not, and then hopefully do some self-reflection to then come at a new place of resonance. And the pointy hierarchy, it's coming to an end because it can only go so high and then it tumbles over, and I feel like we're really in that friction, that tumbling point. And what happens when you tumble? Well, you come back down to earth, you come back down to Mother Earth. And that helps us ground into a new model of heterarchy, divine feminine, equality because of our radiance, equality because of our different masteries, equality in leadership because we know different things and we know them so well, and there's this openness to blend the vibrations and blend the knowledge into something that we can't even imagine. It's so expansive that we can't imagine how beautiful it can be. It has the potential to expand into.
Yeah, I love this concept because it takes me into my own understanding of myself. Like, I did not set out to be a leader. I was a shy kid. I would never go first. If something was going on, I'm not going to be the first one to do it. Probably that relates to my human design and being a projector and needing to wait for the invitation. A lot of my adulting life is in the observance of my energy and what I'm meant to do and how do I interact. So all that to say is that to find yourself in leadership, I was sought out for different ways that I was leading, through my design, through my style, through my sense of putting things together. I became adept with a knowledge of color and texture and the way that things can move together. It's all energy, right? So I was adopting these different templates of myself where I was leading, even though it was very subtly. It wasn't with this big, powerful, strong voice that now I can evoke in a podcast and speak my truth and be in a conversation that maybe is uncomfortable for me with a friend or a partner or a boss or something like that. Those dynamics can start to trigger, wait, I'm not a leader now. I need to come down the notch, because truthfully, there is no hierarchy. When we have a hierarchy, then we're putting people on pedestals. And when we do that, we're saying that the value is different, and the value is not. We're all valuable, we're all worthy, but we have to find that in ourselves to embody that. So if we're not embodying that, we're here for that lesson. And so that lesson's going to keep arising in different scenarios where you're going to be looking at, why don't they see me as valuable? Why don't they why am I not worthy? Well, I'm not embodying that in myself, because literally we're just out handing scripts to other people of how to treat ourselves, because that's how we're treating ourselves. So they're mirrors to tell us, to give us that information. And so we're supposed to click in and be like, wait a minute, I need to set clear boundaries, or I need to ask for more, or I need to set my rate different, or whatever that means for you and whatever you're seeing in your reality. Remember that we're in this reflective universe. And so the leadership aspect is being in tune with the self, to know, to be able to discern the lessons, what you're doing, what are you evolving into. I happen to be in the study of energy. It's something that I'm passionate about. So I know that I have to follow that. Does that make me a leader in energy? I know a bit, probably more than the average person. It's something that I'm consciously evolving and working at. I'm in the practice of that. So whatever we're in the practice of is what we're going to be better at, right? But I'm also in the practice of observing myself. And that is the best place that I can evolve from and recognize myself as being able to lead through my vibration, through my energy. Just by being in a room, I'm adding value. And that feels important to me.
And there's also this that I see in myself, and I see in you, probably because we're evolving similarly, this willingness to be seen, and that is actually part of leadership. It's like, yes, come see me as a master, come see me fall on my ass, come see me laugh like a banshee, come see me yell at my kid, come see me make up with my kid. Like, whatever it is, it's just this, like we were saying, mastery really is this ability to show up, especially when the conditions are not ideal, and to be seen in that. That is so, so important, the willingness to be seen. And I know in my design, I had this ability to be hermit, go do my thing, and then like, wow, be seen. And I am in this, and having this willingness to be seen. I've been a performer my entire life. My body has been judged, and I've seen it objectively my entire life, since 7 years old. And it's a willingness. It's like you said, I had such passion. I still do. I've been taking this danse africaine here, and I finally reconnected with my love of dance. We were just dancing, and I'm not an African dancer, but I love the rhythm, and I just love moving my body through space. And it's a joyful, oh my gosh, to dance with a live drummer, talk about mastery and leader, like with the lead and follow of just in dance. It's just what it is. Like, it's lead follow, it's this blurry, but of the drum and the dancers, oh my God, it's magical. And I had this moment of like, I love dancing. And it was reflected to me by one of the drummers. He came up and said, wow, you love dancing, don't you? You were a dancer. I was like, yep. And it's like that. It's so, once we talk about this so often, you were just talking about energy, Jem. If you feel it, it will be reflected in your reality. And I feel like the faster you feel it and the more authentic you are, the faster it comes to you. And it's just, and not that I needed that, but that was really cool. Like, yeah. And I'm going to continue to do it. So it's not that I need it to continue, but wow, yeah, thank you. I do. And that just by existing, just by that willingness to be seen, not seen as a leader, but just be seen in your mastery. And what I want to say about that, just that last sort of quantify that, your mastery of selfness, of connecting into your source, of gently and compassionately and lovingly sitting inside of you. That's when you shine, and that's when those reflections come quick and easy. So yeah, thank you for that. And I'm so grateful for your willingness to be seen, because like I said, my whole life I've been willing to be seen, because then I have these moments of like, see ya, I'm not going anywhere, and then I come out. literally into the light. So I'm very grateful for that design as well. And it's something that I can own. When I don't want to be in the light, I don't want to be in the light. And when I do, I do. And then that's it. So I can understand that. I can be the master of my own particular figure eight of follow lead, so that I know that I'm connected into my own light source. So my radiant light bubble is no patched, no holes, and I can just be. I can just be in that. I say that word again, that brilliance, that willingness to be seen in that light.
Yeah, I actually love that you brought up the comment from the drummer, because it's not that you need that reflection because you know that you've been a dancer all of your life, but that reflection that he's giving you is the ability to be seen and also the evidence of your existence. And so in this physical reality, it's pretty dense here, right? We need to collect the evidence. We like evidence here, right? It's part of our judicial system. And it's a part of us understanding the evolution of the self. If we don't have the evidence, then it gets a little murky. Like, was I there last week? Am I better? How am I improved? So if we don't have these parameters to speak on, like the evidences that come through people, and it's a really big hack of mine, is to look for the evidence of whatever I'm working on, of my magnetism. If I'm working on my magnetism or my leadership qualities, I'm going to see, where do people recognize those? Where are they catching that from my field? They're going to compliment me, or they're going to open the door for me. I have a lot of what I would call princess tendencies, where I like when people serve me and open the door for me and like lead me through, because it's like an extra energy that I don't want to deal with, because I feel like I'm already modulating in the energy realm like so much, because I'm very attuned to what is transpiring around. We will call that sensitivity, but it's really a superpower that I'm able to tap into these other spaces. So I like that. And that gives me the evidence that, okay, my magnetism is working. Oh, my leadership is working. And that ability to be seen. Yeah, Stephanie's been there since she was 7. Like, see me go. And she is that person. Like, she's just a beautiful, bright kid. I always say that when Steph and I met, I mean, we were technically in our 30s, but we were 11, like when we got together, we were like kids, like, like we can embody our kid so fast. And that is one of the best parts of being in partnership with your friends, that we can move through. And we're also moving through this evolution in this way because we can reflect to each other a safe space to evolve and to transform and to become leaders together. Wow, like chills, right? Because it can feel really challenging. And I think that there's this thought going around, maybe it's a rumor, that we have to do it alone. And I'm here to pop that bubble and say, no, we're not meant to do it alone, right? We do come in alone. We're going to leave this planet alone, but we're not alone when we're here, right? We're in constant connection and dialogue with everything around us. And that connection is really important and profound. We understand that, right? That's why we have relationships. That's why we have intimacies. And so the more that we just take that rumor mill out of our mind and stop feeling like we have to do it alone, we have to build our empire myself, I have to build my business myself. Yeah, I have a business of my own. And now I get to be in partnership with this beautiful goddess that is really transpiring and moving a lot faster. Some of these abilities, because I'm in partnership and because we are two sisters standing at the temple of being and really becoming these foundational pieces. When we can be the foundation, what we can build as high and as much as we want, right? If I'm just one peg and then I start to put, it becomes a balancing, and then I have to be really firm and holding. And so it's a dynamic that's shifting in our collective, where we don't have to do it alone. We're actually meant to be doing it with others. And the community, it's also like takes the relief out of, I need to know everything. I'm a person, and Steph will be the first one to tell you that if I don't know something, I will find somebody that knows it. I have a lot of friends. I'm a keeper of people. I love people so much because I have people that know how to do this or that or this or that. And so I will call upon my people, my tribe, and say, hey, do you know how to do this? Because I don't, and I don't want to know how to do that. But I'm so glad that you know how to do that, and that's your passion, because we're also meant to be different and to be leading in our own, from our own perspective, right? Our own, I'm seeing like a disco ball, like we're all like little ones of the reflection creating a shape, right? We're creating a geometry, we're creating, a unity, a consciousness, a togetherness, but we all have our own little, I mean, it's not little, but we have our own subsect. We have our own thing that drives us. We have our own passion. We have our own lane. We have our own wisdoms. We're carrying, even between Steph and I, very different wisdoms. But we have an overlap that allows us to be in the enmeshment. And we also have the energy of children, of our young selves, of our inner child, that helps us to really connect to those parts of us that are needing to be seen, needing to be spoken. That is the child, right? The child comes in and doesn't have these things. They're just like la 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 la, and they're here to express. They're here to be authentic. They're more in the energy. They're more in the light, and then we get conditioned. So it's a process. And so I just want to encourage, because I didn't set out to be a leader. I didn't set out to be, on camera and be doing this work. But here I sit, and here I'm doing it, and I'm doing it with as much integrity that I can muster and sit in, because it's there. It's there for me. It's a part of my design. It's part of my plan to be a leader, a guide, and share what I know. And that feels really awesome, to just be in conversation with you, and with you and you and you and you and you and be here now, right? So here we go.
Well, I love that, because it leads us kind of back to this surrender, this flow. And then once you simply surrender to being led by your source, then you will be one of the masters that Jem will seek out. Voila. And then create this. I love that disco ball, because it also is kind of like a beehive, but it's also brilliant. Oh my gosh, that's wonderful. So yeah, so lead from your source. You don't have to set out to be a leader. I don't know that I ever did either. I like to be in the back. I like to be in the back of the dance class. And Miss Cool, my first teacher, she's like, Stephanie, you got to come up front. I was like, I don't want to go up front, because you can also lead in all different positions as well. But surrender to your source, and you will be led where you need to be. And in whatever passion you have, you will be the leader there, because people will see your brilliance if you are willing to be seen in it.
Passion is contagious as well. It's part of the magnetism. And when you feel that juiciness, people will feel that coming off of you, because it's just something that you're led to, right? And that's in the surrendering as well, that aspect of, okay, I don't need to construct and build and manipulate. I need to be in flow. And then it's a trust. And so we're working through that dynamic. We're evolving through that dynamic. And so give yourself a break and follow what lights you up, what ignites you.
And then you can come back to the center of your web and look for that evidence. I am glad that a moment ago you brought us there, because it is important to collect and to feel. It feels good to be complimented. It feels good to compliment. It feels good to see others as well.
For sure. We're here for the lesson. This is a journey. This is an earth school. So we're evolving through what we know, and what we're in tandem with, in dialogue, in the dance with. So here we go.
Here we go. And that's all from us this time. We will see you next time, and we will be in dialogue with you next time as well. Mwah.
Ciao.
Thanks for listening to the incoming Radiant Wellness Podcast. If our vibration resonates with you, subscribe so you never miss an episode. If you would like to join our community, theincoming.co, click the link in the description to gain exclusive access to our weekly classes, monthly offerings, intensives, and courses. Until next time, shine bright, radiant beings.